welcome to the 2016 Add the Words Rally. We're going to kick things off with the Boise Gay Men's Chorus.
I can't clap. Hey.
Okay, so we're going to start off with, of course, a selfie, right? Everybody get your phones out. We'll do it quick because I know it's raining and I'm sorry.
Judy sent this to us. She's worried about
And we are using the hashtag It's Time Idaho. So everything you post about Add the Words, It's Time Idaho. Selfie time. Perfect. Thank you, everybody. And now your MC, Ken Bass.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Seattle Sunshine. Thank you for coming out. Thanks for coming out and braving the weather for this very important cause once again this year. My wife, Michelle Bass, normally joins me up here either as speaker or as co-MC. She's homesick today, but she is here with me and with you for this very important cause that I'll try not to get choked up over. We've been doing this for years now and fighting for it every year. And I just want to show you something. When I'm wearing my blue coat, every year I've been wearing this coat. Either I have bad fashion sense or something needs to change. What do you think? Something needs to change? Yeah. We need to add the words. And we're rallying for this cause today, and a rally is what it's all about. It's not just the rally, though. It's what you do after the rally. We'll talk more about that. I want to welcome back up to the stage now, to the podium, Lisa Perry, who helped organize all this year. She's a native Idahoan who got involved with Add the Words after learning that gay and transgender people are not protected from discrimination. She envisions an Idaho where everyone is free to live without fear of discrimination. A safe and fair Idaho. Lisa's been involved with Add the Words Idaho since 2011 and is the current chairperson. Lisa Perry.
Okay, I'm doing my speech off my phone. I forgot to print it this morning. I'm sorry. So thank you everyone for coming out. I know it's terrible to brave the rain, and we are going to make this as quick as we can. And I'm so glad that many of you were able to attend and show your commitment for Idaho human rights. 2015 was a year of success and continued challenges. Add the Words was finally given a hearing. This is a success. has been covering a bill that has been proposed by Senate Pro Tem Brent Hill. That he's calling for compromise between religious groups and gay and transgender people. He wants to introduce a bill that compromises on human rights. The media has reported that the two sides of the issue are meeting on this compromise. I'm here to tell you that we have not been brought into these conversations. We have not seen this proposed bill, and we have not been asked our position on it. I can tell you that we are not willing to give up on what we have started. We are not willing to compromise on human rights. We are here to add the words sexual orientation and gender identity into their rightful place in the Idaho Human Rights Act. This is a human rights issue. You cannot compromise on human rights. 2016 will be a year of growing. While we may not see a hearing, we will be working hard to broaden our support both in the public and in the legislature. We plan to hold both a lobby day and a letter to the editor campaign. We want to have our lobby days so that we can train individuals how to speak to their legislators about gay and transgender people and the rights that we deserve. We want to talk to our legislators about updating the current law, the Human Rights Act. In addition to the lobby day, we will be doing a letter to the editor campaign. It is very important that we broaden our base and talk to the citizens of Idaho and let them know why this is still an issue and why it is a very important issue. Both of these campaigns will be talked about more in the future. If you want to participate, sign up on our website, addthewords.org, and we will send out more information. I hope that everyone plans to participate because this is a big deal. Amen. Thank you everyone again for coming, and our MC, Ken Bass.
Love it. We're doing another selfie here, are we? We're doing another selfie. Okay, let's take the picture here. I'm going to be on everybody's camera. Hello. Okay. And Lisa's going to hashtag that with what? It's time, Idaho. We can say that over and over and over again till finally something happens. I'd like to introduce somebody else now that we've seen in the news, and I consider this person one of the bravest people in the world. Her name is D.W. Wyona Trantham. D.W. is a 14-year-old transgender model and activist who's been involved with testifying for the Add the Words bill, as well as lobbying for an anti-bullying bill to go into effect. After her junior high school principal told her she couldn't use the girls' bathroom based on the body she was, quote unquote, given at birth, she started the hashtag IMDW campaign with her friends and supporters to rally against the school. And the campaign has since made it to where all trans kids can use the bathroom of their choice under Title IX. She is passionate about trans rights and being active and visibly transgender so that the next generation and generations to come will not experience the trauma she's experienced in the past due to her transgender status. Please welcome to the podium D.W. Wyona Trantham.
Good morning. Good morning. Or good afternoon. It's like really cold. Sorry if my voice sounds a little shaky. I'm like freezing. Okay. So as you guys know, my name is D.W. Chanel Wyona Trantham. I'm 14 years old and I'm a male to female transgender model and activist. For this rally, I was given the honor of presenting a speech. I was lucky enough to share my voice along with many others last year during the Add the Words testimony in hopes of creating an impact. Unfortunately, we were denied our very rights that were all promised at birth. However, I still know that without a doubt, we left a major impact. The voices of so many brave, passionate, and beautiful souls courageously shared their stories. Many busy moms, many busy moms, dads, and families, or uncles and families, took time off in order to speak in favor for a simple, easy bill that just makes it clear across our state that no matter who we are or what people's opinion of us is, our rights and existences are not compromised. As a young trans girl, I watched in an emotional crowd as our government denied us of our humanity. It was a really scary thought that pondered through my mind. The very officials that I relied on to keep me safe and guarantee my equality as an Idahoan denied me of the equal opportunities that we all deserve. It scared me to think that while people are losing jobs and their lives and the lives of those they love and housing, our government proposes to spend thousands, millions maybe, on improving our state's education. If they're willing to do that, then they should be more than willing to live up to their duties and add the words, which costs nothing. It costs nothing, but ensures the safety and security of all equal people. In our glorious state, gay, transgender, we are still people. We are humans. We all want love and happiness, freedom and equality. The very basic promises of our American citizenship have been stripped from us. Today, although they treat us as second class, we stand tall. We stand together. Together, we're making a change. We will not be silenced, and we will not give up. And we will not be compromised. As unprotected Idahoans, we must always be prepared for the next fight that comes our way. Whether it's a school denying us of our right to education or getting fired because of a loved one, these daily tragedies are unfortunately the realities of what most of us face. Life is hard enough being different, but when we're denied our own peace and safety, it's common sense. It's well overdue for a change. It's scary for me because just in my 14 years of life as a transgender teen, I've seen more adversity than most 14-year-olds have. Imagine what fully grown Idahoans are going through and have gone through. We're forced to live discrimination. They tell us being LGBT is a choice. Well, I say ignoring us and allowing us to be discriminated is a choice. It's not a very wise thought to think that we choose this. In our state, with what we were forced to endure, who would choose this? No one. Most Idahoans agree we need to be protected and have equal rights. Enough is enough. How many people must hurt? How many more people must get arrested? How many more words must we chant until we're finally heard? It's time. Add the words, Idaho. In closing, I would just like to say thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening. And again, just remember, although times are tough right now, together we stand tall. Together we are proud. Together we will change the world one state at a time. Add the words, Idaho!
DW, I get a selfie with you too. Up, 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 up. Selfie time. You don't have your phone? I don't mind either. Here. Melissa's. There we go. All right. Ready? There we go. Selfie time. Okay. And you hashtag that with? You guys are well trained. Thank you. Doesn't take much. All right. We are going to introduce, actually back up to the stage, Lisa Perry, I believe. We're going to do a little thing that you can do with your phone besides taking selfies. Yeah. What we're going to do is give you Senate Pro Temp Brent Hill's phone number. Area code 208 356 7495. All right? And we are very respectful. We'll be very respectful with Brent Hill. We won't walk in and interrupt any of his sessions by yelling when other people are talking. So, respect is what it's all about. Now, Lisa is going to call right now and tell you what you're supposed to do.
Respect is key. That's the number one thing. Be respectful. We want to be heard. And I am going to actually call right now and show you how it's done. Okay? Again, that phone number, put it in your phone so you can do this later. 208-356-7495.
Hello, Hills.
Hi, I'm calling to speak to Senator Brent Hill.
He's not in right now. Could I then call you later?
Sure. I just wanted to leave a message. My name is Lisa Perry, and I'm calling about the Add the Words bill. I just wanted to say that it's very important that we add sexual orientation and gender identity to the existing Idaho Human Rights Act, and that we do not want to compromise on human rights.
All right, I'll be sure and let him know.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, so that's all you have to do. Be very, very respectful. Don't call in the middle of the night. Leave your phone number and leave your address and other information so they can, let them know who is out there wanting this to be changed. This is what it's all about. But once again, respect, number one key thing on that, 356-7495. He's a human being also, just like the rest of us. All right. Our next guest to talk to us, Trevor Chandler. Trevor is the Associate Regional Field Director for the Human Rights Campaign, where he assists state and local partners to advance and defend LGBT equality, including 8 marriage campaigns, as well as on the ground here in Idaho, where he worked to defend Pocatello's non-discrimination ordinance and helped prepare activists for Add the Words hearings last year. He was also recently named by The Economist Global Diversity List as one of the top 50 diversity figures in public life. Trevor Chandler.
How's it going, Idaho? You going? Stay warm? Nice. I'm from Portland. I brought the rain with me. I'm sorry. We just got through a month of rain. I brought it with me. I just love being surrounded by my LGBT family. And I'm really proud to be here today on behalf of HRC, standing along our partners and our 1.5 million members, thousands of which are here in Idaho. We have been so proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with partners here in the coalition of groups, with Planned Parenthood, the ACLU, Add the Words, the Faith Coalition you see here, the center, everyone here, your leaders on the ground that are making this change on a daily basis. They are working for you so hard. And I especially want to thank Lisa Perry for helping to organize this and put this on and Add the Words. Give them a huge round of applause. And yes, we are here as part of this amazing coalition to save the Idaho legislature. Steps with shoulder to shoulder with this coalition to say, add the words to the Human Rights Act. No more, no less. Add the words, Idaho. It is more past time to get these into Human Rights Acts. Now, you've heard about this compromise that's being talked about. And while I have no doubt of the good intentions of the folks talking about this, let me make perfectly clear, any compromise that leaves behind our transgender brothers and sisters cannot be supported. Any compromise that gives credence to the hurtful lies and myths, defamatory lies against the transgender community, such as leaving out public accommodations, cannot be supported by us or this coalition. Any compromise that treats the LGBT community any different than any other protected minority cannot be supported and should be defeated and not introduced in the first place. It would take an eraser to our country's creed of liberty and justice for all when it comes to the LGBT community. And I want to speak particularly to those legislators and voters who have made their personal journey for coming out in support of marriage equality in the gay community. But when it comes to non-discrimination laws in the transgender community and securing our rights for our trans brothers and sisters, have been troubled by what they've been hearing from those most angrily protesting these, protesting in our opposition. And I want to tell to them that don't let them pull you down the wrong side of history once more. To those wishing to defeat these protections, those people that are spewing those lies and hatred, they're recycling the old lies and they're hoping that they're going to work again, and we cannot let that happen. That's right. It's not only the wrong side of history, it's the wrong side of family. Because in the end, all of us here are family. Here in Idaho, we're a family. Across the country, this is about how we would treat our family. And let's put this into perspective. Say someone is telling you horrible things about your brother, things that make your skin crawl, and they make you question your brother's morality. And this person said your brother was a deviant, that they should be disowned, and that you and your children weren't safe around them or the children of others, and not even safe in your presence. And after hearing these things, you cast out your brother, you isolated them, you degraded them, but then after years of this treatment, you discover that what was told to you was a complete lie. So you welcome your sibling back into the fold, and you go back to that person, and you say, you demand an answer for what they said. And the man replies, well, what was said about then was in the past, but what you should really focus on is that your sister is a deviant, and that you're not safe around her. And so I ask you, would you trust that person again who lied about your family? No. We are in the same situation right now. We saw those who purposefully lied about our gay brothers and sisters, that allowing basic marriage equality would lead to a rupturing of our social contract, that the children would be put in danger, that our institutions would fail. We showed those despicable lies for what they were on their face. And then we went back to those who brought those fears, demanding an answer, and they just responded, well, that was in the past, although they still say it, a little softly, a little bit more softly, they still say it, but that was in the past. What you should focus on is how the transgender community is deviant, and your children aren't safe around them. Well, I can't speak for the rest, but I know that no one who lies about my family ever gets my trust again. So I'm asking those who have been affected by this nasty invective and disturbing lies of those at the very top opposing these basic protections for our gay and transgender brothers and sisters. Gay and transgender brothers and sisters, will you trust the people who first told you those lies about your family, or will you see them for what they really are? The history books are being written right now. And with the 2020 vision of recent history behind us, we, in this current time in history, have the rare luxury of being able to choose which chapter of those history books we get written into. I know what chapter I plan on getting written into. I know which chapter all of you plan on getting written into. And it's time that we are placed on the right side of history. That's the chapter we're all getting written into. Now, on this weekend, we gather on these steps on a weekend where every year we celebrate the birth of the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in his quest to bend that arc of the moral universe just a little bit more towards justice. And as I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I was reminded of the speech he made the night before he was assassinated on April 4th in Memphis, Tennessee. In that speech, in that sermon, he spoke of going to the mountaintop and seeing the promised land. He spoke at that last night of the parable Jesus Christ told of the Good Samaritan. He had a prophetic analysis that I thought was something that I really implore these state legislators who work in the building behind me to consider. Dr. King retold the parable of where the priest and the Levite, another man of faith, walked past the man that had been stripped and beaten by robbers, left for dead on the side of the road. But it was the Samaritan who, despite having significant religious differences with the man, that would have provided an easy excuse just to walk by. He stopped. He aided the man. He brought him back to health and brought him back to safety. Now, Dr. King surmised that it was likely that the priest and the Levite thought it was too risky to stop and help because it was a dangerous road on the road to Jericho. Perhaps it was a trap. It's a very real fear. He thought, that if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? The Good Samaritan, King surmised, turned that question on its head. And he asked instead, if I don't help this man, what will happen to him? I urge the elected leaders of Idaho to follow the example of the Good Samaritan. Don't give in to the politics of fear and division, and don't walk by those in desperate need of these essential basic protections. Don't let pass this historic opportunity to be that for the Idaho citizens to be judged not on the basis of who they are or who they love, but on the work they produce, the rent they pay, and the rights they're entitled to be treated as equal to anyone else. So join us. Stand with us on the side of love, stand with us on the side of fairness, and stand with us on the right side of history and add the words. Thank you, Idaho.
You have your phone with you. You get your camera, do a selfie here. All right, Trevor, ready to go? All right, there we go. Got it, okay. And then you put the hashtag on there of...
So I just want to tell everybody that I made a mistake. That was supposed to be Brent Hill's office, not his home. Don't call his home, please. Don't. Let me give you the correct phone number. My fingers are cold. I'm sorry, I'm slow. Three 1300. Again, do not use that other phone number. Terribly embarrassed. Thank you.
332-1300, and if a woman answers, hang up. I'm sorry, but I'm glad it actually happened like it did. That was awesome. I think he got the message today. We should have all just hooped and hollered in the background. All right. We are... We're gonna... Is Rebecca here yet? Rebecca Scott? Oh, there she is! Folks, Rebecca Scott was one of the first musicians I saw and heard in Boise when I moved here in 1985. She was only 10 herself at the time. But I've known and loved her ever since. I've respected the hell out of her. She is a tremendous musician and person, and I just love her to death. Please welcome Rebecca Scott.
Hello, Idaho. We meet again, right here on the steps.
And Debbie Sager, too. Say that.
This is my best friend, Debbie Sager, who's been supporting us our entire friendship, which is 20 years. I've been wondering lately how to feel about my life. This frame of time, turning pages, flipping through these chapters of this storyline in this book of mine. I'm just behind in the blink of an eye. Taste tomorrow's morning. Time slips by in the blink of an eye. This time is everything, isn't it? Nonsense day songs are to punctuate the measure of my song. Learning to be strong, breaking patterns, trying, slowing down and maybe live it long. Learn from what went wrong. Time is by in the blink of an eye. Taste tomorrow's morning. Time slips by in the blink of an eye. This time is everything. How you do most of my days do one thing or another. Way I've handled it makes me tremble, makes me shut it down. And I agree the problem here, get away, get away. I gave away my time. I gave away every pretty darling. You just gave it away, you just gave it away. And with time, you just gave it away, you just gave it away. And with time, in the blink of an eye, taste tomorrow's morning. Time slips by in the blink of an eye. Yes, time is everything. Time is everything.
Thanks, guys. Rebecca Scott, Debbie Sager. And I just took a picture. You want to do that? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You guys have better phones than I do. Mine's like an ancient i4. Takes 10 minutes to warm up. Okay. All right, there we go. Thank you. And we're going to hashtag that with?
It's time, Idaho!
Very good. All right. Another guest to introduce, and again, we thank you for your indulgence, for hanging out there. It's cold and it's wet, but this is for a great cause you're doing this, and we appreciate all of your dedication today. Somebody else who's been very dedicated to the cause, works in the Idaho House of Representatives, serving her first term. Melissa Wintrow represents District 19. She loves her community and the spirited citizens that she serves. She places high value on learning, compassion, fairness, and community. She's worked at 6 different universities in the past 27 years, and most recently at BSU for 15 years. She was hired there in 2000 as the first full-time Women's Center Director, where she created advocacy programs for survivors of sexual assault, mentoring programs for women returning to school, and hosted prominent speakers such as Gloria Steinem. She continues to teach as an adjunct professor in gender studies. Her decision to run for office was spurred on by encouragement from friends and colleagues, and her involvement as a program manager for National Education for Women Leadership Idaho, program created and run through Rutgers University and the Center for American Women in Politics. And to quote Teddy Roosevelt, who I saw, have you seen the video, by the way, Jerry Seinfeld and President Obama getting coffee? You see that? Who does President Roosevelt say he thinks the most interesting president ever was? Teddy Roosevelt. So to quote him, that's a long way around. To quote him, she says, she felt it was time for her to enter the arena and utilize her skills to better our state. We'd like to welcome to the podium Melissa Wintrow.
Ready. Yeah, we'll wait till we do the end. But I'm really nervous, but I do want to recognize the
sincere desire that Lisa shared that we would not call Senator Hill's home number, but we would call his office. We never want to be the people that would stoop. We always want to have our shoulders back and be honest and compassionate to everyone. So thank you for doing that. You're awesome. You're awesome. Oh, Ken. Ken. Well, I come before you today with a message born out of hope. It's about your compassion, your determination, and your grit. Regardless of the challenges and the temporary defeats we have sustained, I feel a sense of hope. This past week, President of the United States spoke of hope. Even in the face of violence and turmoil and bigotry and political dysfunction in our country, he shared hope. And there was one phrase that struck out to me and resonated with me, and I talked to my friends about it. And that phrase, he talked about voices of unarmed truth and unconditional love. He talked about that. He said, voices, he said, Dr. King believed would be the final word. Dr. King spoke those words on November 10th, 1964, during his acceptance speech receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, and it bears repeating, I think, again. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. That is why right temporarily defeated is stronger than evil triumphant. Strong words. I served on the committee last year that finally opened its doors, ironically in the Lincoln Auditorium, to hear the historic legislation to add words, gender identity, and sexual orientation to our Human Rights Act. After 4 full days of citizens sharing stories that ran the gamut of human emotions and vulnerability, my committee, unfortunately, on long party lines, once again slammed the door on freedom and equality for my gay, lesbian, transgender brothers and sisters. Help me, Ken. Stunned by the vote, my head hung low as I walked up the aisle of the auditorium toward the door. But then, as I entered the halls, my eyes lifted to see many of you directly taking up the charge of freedom and equality again, standing silently and firmly, hand over mouth, tears streaming down your face and hands. It was eerily quiet, that scene. The sounds of clicking heels moving down the hallway mixed with an occasional sob escaping a cupped hand. But my heart swelled with love and my spine straightened. And once again, to see the right temporarily defeated is still stronger than evil triumphant. No one will divert you from the truth, and no one will divert you from what is right. With grit and determination, that is truly the Idaho way. We continue to stand firmly in our love and compassion for our brothers and sisters. As I stood there, I thought, even in the face of hateful statements from people testifying and hateful statements from some of our state leaders, you remain steadfast in your truth and compassion. I was humbled by your physical and emotional strength to stand on cold marble floors, hands over mouth, for hours on end, while most of my colleagues shuffled past as if annoyed. I was humbled by your courage to be arrested and then sentenced in court and quietly complete hours and hours of community service, as if you haven't already served your community already. I'm humbled, inspired, and hopeful by your clear direction and your pure desire to fight for fairness and equality. Unarmed truth and compassion will have the final word. Right now in our own state, we're facing many serious issues that Dr. King may have said threaten dignity, equality, and freedom for the spirit of our spirits. We're seeing bigotry against people who are Muslim. We're seeing violent attacks on Planned Parenthood. We're experiencing political ideology that blocks health care coverage to about 80,000 of our hardworking neighbors. We're seeing attacks on our federal government by lawless marauders by taking over a federal building when their local community has even asked them to leave. Imagine any other group, our tribes, doing the same thing. What would happen? Our African American brothers and sisters across the country have been killed at the hands of police violence. And we continue to deny the basic human rights of our friends and families who are gay, lesbian, and transgender. But as I stand here today, I am truly thankful because you're the same people that show up to support refugees. You're the same people who show up to support Planned Parenthood and women's rights. You're the same people who show up for Black Lives Matter. You're the same people who show up to stand against the epidemic levels of violence against women and girls in our country. And you're the same people that will show up to save our public lands from private takeover. Dramatic pause. In our numbers and in our truth, we recognize the common fight we share. We must all remain together and all show up together and all fight together. We must show politicians in this state house that we won't compromise on human rights. We've heard public comments by our Senate President that he will introduce compromise legislation. And out of courtesy and civility, I chose to speak with him yesterday to let him know I had been asked to speak at this rally. Because that's who we are. We're not afraid. We won't demean. We won't degrade. We will stand firm, compassionately, with an open heart, with truth at our side. We had a nice conversation, and I assured him that I will not compromise, nor do I believe you will compromise on legislation that treats human rights like a cafeteria menu. So today, the day after Dr. King's birthday, there seems to be a theme with my friend. Let's remain hopeful and steadfast in our faith that unarmed truth, unconditional love will have the final word. And we will not compromise on those rights. So today, as I close, I do think it's important also to honor those who come before us in this long, hard fight. And I don't have the time to thank every individual personally or individually because there's so many of you. But I think it's important to recognize Senator Nicole Lefebvre, who has fought tirelessly. And I also want to acknowledge Senator Buckner Webb, who delivered one of the most powerful speeches I've ever heard in that hearing as she closed that day. So with that, unarmed truth, unconditional love, go forward, and it will have the final word.
And now the dreaded selfie with Ken. Okay, here we go. Very good. Okay, everybody else, take one more selfie of everything going on here. Everybody pull out your phones, take another selfie, and then you're going to hashtag it with what?
It's time, Idaho.
Going to kind of wrap this up by reminding you that this is a rally today. This is a rally. And what a rally actually does, it's not going to really work unless you, the people, take the inspiration and the energy and the resolve built right here this afternoon and actually do something with it. The legislators, other than folks like Melissa, Cherie Buckner Webb, and all the others, they may not listen. They may not pay attention to us out here. They're not working today for the most part. But what you do after today does create attention and bring the point home to them. You have to learn to lobby and say what you need to say. The letters to the editor that Lisa was talking about. More of that. You just need to do what you have to do to add the words. Once again, it's time, Idaho. Let's make it work this year.
One more time, our web address is atthewords.org. Sign up to participate in our Letter to the Editor campaign and our lobby day. Thank you so much for coming out.
Sorry for bumping into your camera.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
It's raining, it's pouring, my love life is boring, it seems. After all these years, no sunshine, no moonlight, no stars, no sun.